Part 17, the lies he told. So now I'm on the phone with my cousin and I'm like, man, bitch, let me tell you about this shit. So we talking. And I told her, I said, man, I ain't gonna lie, between the drugs, between the lying, between all of this, I gotta get out, man. I really gotta get out, but I gotta figure a way out. You know, one thing I will say, and this is a little piece of nugget for any woman out there. I know that I kept saying in these parts, but he was paying all the bills. Sis, you can pay your own bills. I ain't never letting another nigga pay my bills again. I'm sorry. You're not going to take away my peace. Because this was too much. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. So I get back home and I ended the conversation with my cousin. I get the baby together. I put him to bed. By 9:15, he calls my phone. I answer. I say, what's up? He said, babe, I'm at Fish City Grill in Pearland. They needed some help out here. You want something to eat from here? I said, no, thank you. He said, all right, babe, I'm on my way home. I said, okay, cool. I fell asleep before he got home because he probably made it anywhere between 11:30. And I never brought it back up again. But it always stuck in the back of my head that he probably was somewhere with some bitch doing whatever the fuck he wanted to do. Or he was probably somewhere getting high. Don't even know. And it's irrelevant now. But it's the fact that he even lied to his place of employment. Because you told them folks that you was gone for the night. I don't even know if they had a GM on the floor that night. So it wasn't just me. So I got a phone call. I got a phone call within that same month from my cousin, and she was telling me that her sister wasn't doing too well. She said it wasn't going to be long before we would have to make arrangements to get ready for a funeral. My cousin was young, and that was a really tough time for my family. So I dealt with grief before anything. I dealt with grief. So I told him, I said, babe, you remember my aunt when we went to Mississippi? He was like, yeah, babe. I said, well, her daughter, the one that lives with her, ain't doing too well. I'm going to probably have to go to Mississippi at some point. He said, okay. Whatever you need. I said, I'll probably just need you to make sure the baby cool. He said, all right. So I got that phone call one day while I was driving into work. So that'll come back sooner or later. And I'm sorry, y'all, I get emotional on certain points because I'm really not over her yet. I'm really not over that yet. So one morning, about 5 a.m, I get up. I'm getting dressed for work like a normal day. And I noticed that one of his phones is laying on the couch. He's in the bed. I don't know what made me, but I did. I went through the phone. Again, I went through the Chase banking app. I was concerned at some point because he was still making all of the bills. But he was also out of nowhere giving me extra money, whether it was extra money to get my nails done, extra money to get more wigs because I'm a wig finessa, whatever the case may be. He was just giving me bread. And I kept saying, where you getting this money from? And he told me, he said, I got a bonus at work. I don't really think restaurant GMs get bonuses, but I mean, what do I know? During the time, I thought that was truth. And I went through that Chase app. And the same day that he was getting a deposit from Fish City Grill for his job, he was also getting an unemployment check from the government. I don't know how he pulled it off. And I will tell you that the entire time that I knew this man, even up until now, he has never filed taxes. Never filed taxes. I have no idea how he's getting away with this at this point in time. So I took screenshots of that. I said, okay, he getting unemployment. But I also go to his Cash App. And I noticed that he is making a lot of transactions to the weed man. But these transactions are beginning to be between $350 to $550 a week. And I said, okay, I know that he doing weed and I know he doing the pills or whatever, but man, I thought, me and him had talked about it. I told him, I was like, hey, I know what you said about the drugs, but you're going to have to quit it. He did come home one day and he told me that he wanted to quit. This was before I found the stuff on the phone. And he said, I do want to quit, but I'll go to a therapist. I'll go to a therapist. I believed him. I also went to his T-Mobile account. And I also found out that he had been on the phone with this one number the entire time that he be at work. Sometimes the conversations were 6 hours long. Sometimes they were 9 hours long. And some of the conversations were occurring while I was at work and he was at home. And I did not know who the number was, but I screenshotted it too. Like, I took a picture of it from my phone, from his phone, or whatever. I questioned him about it all. I said, what is going on? Again, he got upset. He told me it ain't no reason that I need to be going through his shit. I told him, I said, we are married, Jared. You got to tell me what's going on. Because now you fucking with the government. What you got going on, player? Like, what's going on? Again, he started this shit up by leaving the house, not coming back. Anytime we got into an argument, he would leave the house, wouldn't come back for days. So I said, all right, man. At this point, I really do got to find me a way out. I really do. So when I asked him about the phone calls, he said, you told me to get counseling. That's my therapist. I said, what's the therapist's name? Because you're on the phone with the therapist for 9 hours. Who's the therapist? He gave me some bogus ass name. And he also was the type too, when I found shit, he said, you figured out, you the one that want to know the answer to the question. He had that type of attitude. Once again, head between the washer and dryer. Tearing that ass up. Don't please watch your mouth and watch your fucking tone when you're talking to me. Because by that time now, I'm not going to lie, and it break my heart, I had become abusive physically. I most definitely did. Part 18, the lies he told. So, soon after I got that information, confronted him about it. He said what he said, he did what he did. I started thinking in my head of solutions to be able to financially uphold this house without this man being here. It was going to be tough. It was going to be tight. But I said, I will start packing that money down for the next 3 to 6 months. I'm going to stick this thing through. But I need to at least get a good 6 months of rent under my belt so that I can be comfortable with this savings account. Because I already knew that if we split, there was a possibility that he was not going to immediately pay child support, even though I was going to put his ass on there. So I got the phone call that my cousin passed. I went home before the funeral. I went home the day that I got the call about her passing. I went home to be with her mom, my aunt. I stayed there with my aunt until my cousin traveled with her family from North Carolina. When my cousin came in town, I think I spent the next night at home, like in Mississippi, and then I flew back to Houston. He was here with the baby when I went home. But when it was time for the funeral, which the funeral was during the week, I told him, I said, I know that you have to work. And when I go home, I'll probably be home for maybe 2 nights max. But when I go home this time, I know since you're working, take the baby to my cousin, which I call aunt, because she is like an aunt to me. She helped me when I first moved here to Houston. I said, take baby to her in Fairfield, in Cypress, down there by the Outlet Mall. If you know where Fresno is, you know that from Fresno to Cypress Outlet Mall is a good hour drive. That's a far drive. I said, so just go ahead, take him over there. When I get back in town, I will go and pick him up, and then I will bring him back home. He said, babe, whatever you need, I got it. You know, I know that you got to go home for this. I said, okay, thank you so much. The day came where I got on the plane and I flew to Mississippi. My cousin, which is my aunt, keep in mind now, I call my cousin my aunt, but her son was living with her at the time. And my cousin is around 36. And for the story purposes, we're going to say his name is Dwayne. Dwayne is at home with my aunt. And Dwayne is going to be the one that goes and get the baby from the car from my ex-husband. So I'm on the phone with my ex-husband. I've already landed in Mississippi. I'm on the phone with my ex-husband and I say, hey, have you pulled up? You know, have you pulled up on my aunt? And he said, yeah, babe, I'm here. But what apartment you say she in again? And I said, don't look for the apartment because Dwayne is outside. He said, Dwayne? I said, yeah, my cousin Dwayne, that's her son. I hear the exchange of the baby. I hear him saying, what's up, man? How you doing? I'm Jared. I'm Dwayne. I hear all that. And so I hear Dwayne saying, come on, little man. He got him. He closes the door and he say, all right, babe, I dropped him off. I said, thank you so much. We end the call. I'm at home dealing with my family because I just lost my fucking cousin. At this point, don't piss me off because I ain't no telling what I'm going to do. Because when I lose somebody like that was close to me, don't say nothing to me ill. Don't do that. That man contacted me that night while I was sitting in the same home that my cousin was living in. I never forget it. And he texts me. My aunt was on that couch. My cousin's mama was on that couch trying to rest because she had just lost her baby daughter. That boy texted my phone and he said, how are they related to you? Talking about the cousins that he dropped the baby off with. I said, that's my family from Mississippi. He said, but I'm saying though, what kind of relation is it? Are y'all first cousins? Are y'all second cousins? Are y'all third cousins? I said, that would be my mom's, if I'm not mistaken, second cousin. Now we're texting. I said, why? He said, because I've been doing some thinking. He said, let me find out that that's not your real family. I said, so who the fuck else would it be? You think I'm just going to let my baby go with anybody? I said, man, quit playing with me, man. Don't start that. That's what I said. I said, I don't know what the fuck wrong with you. You probably off them street pills. Don't text my phone with that shit. I'm grieving right now. That's what I said. I promise you. I said them exact words. And he says, just let me find out. I called Dwayne up. It's probably 11 o'clock at night. I said, what you doing? He said, shit, playing the game. I said, what the baby doing? He said, in there with mom, sleep, bet. I said, man, this nigga, he texting me with that bullshit. Now, Dwayne probably been out at that point, maybe roughly a year. So he fresh out. One thing that I want TikTok to know right now is my family, it run deep. I'm going to tell you now. So it is hard for you to make idle threats or to talk shit because somebody in the family going to see about you. I told him, I said, man, that man has contacted me and he talking crazy. And I know you don't really know him, but I'm just letting you know he know where, y'all live. So just be on the lookout. If he trying to come and get the baby, don't let the baby go with him. Because I'm going to be honest, I really did not trust my ex-husband with my baby. I did not. And so he said, oh, that nigga ain't coming over here. He not coming over here. What I didn't know is that Dwayne, in the course of the conversation, he asked me where he worked at, where my ex-husband worked at. And I told him, I said, now at this point, y'all, he had left Fish City Grill. Now he at Grub Burger off of I-10 and Katy. I said, man, he work at Grub Burger. He said, what time they close? I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. He said, don't worry about it. What I did not know is that the following day, Dwayne called up there to Grub Burger and asked for Jared. And he told him, he said, man, this Dwayne. He said, Dwayne? He said, yeah, Dwayne, the one that got your baby over here. He said, oh, yeah, man, what's going on? Everything okay? Do the baby need something? Y'all need more diapers or something? He said, no. He said, but I just wanted to call to let you know that my baby cousin had called me. And I don't want to have to come and see about you. So leave it alone. I don't know what you think the fuck is going on, but that's family. So leave it alone. Jared calls me going off. Man, your motherfucking cousin done called up here. Now it's my cousin. Your motherfucking cousin done called up here talking about woo, 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 yada, 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 yada. Acting just like Jody motherfucking ass from Baby Boy. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. You told that nigga that I said, I ain't told nobody shit. Now at this point, now I'm playing your game. Now I'm lying. I said, I ain't told nobody shit. I said, but I told you, stop fucking playing with me. Don't play with me, sir. Don't do it. I'll catch you up on the next part. Yo, I gotta answer questions real quick, man. Let me bag up. Man. While I'm trying to do the parts to all of this, I just keep going back and I keep looking at some of these comments and I'm like, man, these people are silly. Y'all are just as crazy as I am and I love it. I loved it. And y'all, when I get to the end, I promise I'm not going to hold you long. Like I told you, it probably will not be 50 parts. But I definitely want to thank every single last one of you, even if you were negative from the beginning. I thank you because it is impossible for me to withhold this now that now everything has opened up for us Black women to be able to tell our story. So once again, I truly appreciate you for being here. One thing that I do want to say to everybody that has been asking, Jared is a Cancer. That boy's birthday is in July. I can't remember. Oh, I do remember what day. July. No, I ain't gonna tell you because y'all gonna look that nigga up. Y'all not gonna get me. No. He is a Cancer. He is not a Gemini. I am a Scorpio. Here's the fact that I got on down. Okay. Second thing, I am originally born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. I graduated from Southern Miss. With my master's, I graduated from Belhaven, and next month I walk with a doctorate. So I will tell you, fully educated, but sometimes I don't have the best sense when it comes to men. And to be honest with y'all, I do have a whole nother situation that my mom told me I do need to share with the world as well that happened after Jared. So stay tuned for that, because if I tell that story, that shit gonna really blow. I'm sorry, but I mean, at this point, it's no stopping me because my mouth big anyway. I might as well go ahead and tell all my business. I done told y'all this much. Period. Another thing that I want to say, a lot of you guys are misconstrued about the story because either y'all are not listening, or y'all listening too early and y'all haven't watched clarification videos, or y'all have not watched me go into further detail about what is going on. So take your time, watch these videos before y'all comment, because some of y'all are so confused, but y'all only on part 1 or part 2. It's part 3 and part 4 and part 5 where I start really getting into the meat and potatoes of shit that I said in part 1 and part 2. So I understand if you're currently confused, but try to go and watch, go to the page and watch. Another thing that I want to say, excuse me, I do not have enough followers right now to do a playlist. I absolutely don't. So until, and I could be mistaken, but I Googled it. Until I get to 10,000 followers, I am unable to make a playlist so you guys can further be able to scroll these videos and watch them. I apologize. It ain't my rules. That's TikTok stuff. So I'm sorry. I did forewarn you guys a long time ago that there was probably going to be a whole lot of use of profane language. I'm simply just reverting the story, well, retelling the story. So I apologize for, you know, ears that don't know me to use this kind of language, but this did occur almost 4 years ago. I'm in a new light now, but I do need to tell this story the way that it happened. I really do. Another thing I want to clarify, his mama was not a medical doctor, a physician when I met him. I am not downplaying registered nurses at all. What I am saying, though, is that during the time that I was with that man, his mother was a registered nurse. She was not a doctor. She was not a nurse practitioner. She was a registered nurse. Now, she was going to school to be a nurse practitioner, but she did not graduate, I don't believe, until 2021 or something like that. Most of the time when I'm talking about this woman, this was in the year of 2020. So I don't want nobody to make it seem like that I'm disrespecting the medical field. My sister is a pharmacy student, so I don't do that. I got an aunt that's a registered nurse. I have a cousin that's a doctor. I ain't shitting on nobody in the medical field. I appreciate you guys. You guys held me down on both of my babies. So we're not going to even play that game. So don't even sit here and play like I'm down in anybody in the medical field, because I'm not doing it. I'm simply telling the story. That's all I'm doing. Now, another thing that I also want to say is I have seen several comments about how nobody wouldn't have never wanted to do this until Miss Risa Tisa did her story. You are absolutely right. Because a lot of us did not have the balls to do it. But it ain't even about me trying to blow up. When that woman affected me the way that she affected me, it was beautiful. Because I cried even when she didn't. Because some of her story is my story. Mine run a little deeper. But at the end of the day, I was more foolish. I was a fool. Most definitely. So I don't want y'all to get too comfortable with trying to compare the two. We are two beautiful black women that were hurt, traumatized, and we're still trying to heal. So I just wanted to put that out there. I wanted to make sure that you guys understood what it is. Again, I apologize if a lot of these things that I say are vulgar, but it's a part of the story. So continue to buckle your seatbelts. Let's get back to it. Part 19, the lies he told. So I hang up the phone from him. I quickly sent him a text message and I told him, I said, listen, I know you and I have not been seeing eye to eye. I have no idea what you're talking about when it comes down to my cousin contacting your job, whatever the case may be. However, what I will tell you is that I am dealing with the death of a family member. I am currently grieving. This is not what I need right now. Remember, I told you guys that I was dealing with postpartum depression already. And, you know, postpartum can stick around for a while after you've had a baby. So there were things that I was personally dealing with. I was dealing with my own stuff, you know. And so he did not text back. He waited until the day that I flew out, which was not the day of the funeral, but the following day. I was standing in the airport in Jackson, Mississippi, getting ready to board my flight. And I got a text message from Jared. And he said, so as I have had time to sit back and to reflect, I believe that I dropped our baby off at his real daddy house. I believe that ain't I believe that ain't your auntie, but that's in fact our baby's grandmother or your baby's grandmother. He says, so I want a DNA test when you get back. I may have mentioned this in previous videos, The baby looks exactly like my ex-husband. Split an image. You will know that that baby belongs to him because that baby took everything of him. His teeth, his eyes, his face, everything. He even short like that nigga. He took everything. I said, of course you can have a DNA test when I get back. I said, but also when I get back, make sure all your shit at my house. Make sure everything gone. Spotless. He texted me back and he told me, you got it. All right. So I flew out. I did call Dwayne back and I said, Dwayne, he told me that you my baby daddy, bro. He said, man, to be honest with you, man, at this point, I really do believe that the man, he gotta be high. Like there has to be something going on with him. I said, absolutely. Absolutely it is. I said, but stand down. Don't bother. I said, don't even worry about it. Now, by this time, Dwayne, big brother, done called up there to their restaurant too. See, I didn't know that it was going that deep. I had no idea. Now, my other cousin, which is Dwayne brother, he's in San Antonio. He's in San Antonio. So I said, I ain't know, big boy, call homeboy job. He said, man, we not playing with that nigga, man. That nigga gonna have to see us one day. I said, all right, man. I get it. I get it. Real hitters now. Real hitters. Sometimes I just talk, but they actually walk. Period. So I get back in town. Instead of me going straight home, I leave the airport. I get to my aunt. Remember now, my auntie is Dwayne's mom, but she's really my cousin. I don't want to confuse anybody because y'all get confused quick. I went to her house and I stayed with her that night, slept in her bed with my baby. And I told her, I said, Auntie, I'm tired. I'm tired. She already knew what was going on. Dwayne had already let her know. But I told her, I said, I really cannot do this anymore. I just can't. She said, I know, baby. I know. So the next morning, I get up. I get the baby together. We leave my aunt's house. I travel to Fresno and I drop him off at daycare. And I go to the house. And y'all, that was the first time that I felt God in my home. Because it felt like the devil left. When I walked through that house, it was still. The peace that I felt that day, that felt like freedom to me. Because when I went to that closet and the left-hand side where everything that was his was at, it was completely empty. And I fell to my knees in that closet and I told God, thank you. Thank you, God, because you knew that I couldn't do it no more. You knew that I could not do it no more. You knew it, you knew it, you knew it. And I kept going. I kept praying and I kept telling God, you kept me, man. You kept me. You kept me. You kept me through this entire thing. You kept me. You helped me and you kept me. I could have went to jail. That man could have killed me. He could have did anything. And when I mean kill me, because when you beat somebody with an ironing board, when you beat a nigga ass with an ironing board, man, it hit different for a man to get their ass beat by a woman, man. It do. It do. I can only imagine how it felt for a man to have a woman to put their hands on him. Because he a lying ass man. Because he couldn't be what a real man would be in a household. But that day was dedicated to thanking the Lord himself. Because I could not muster up the faith to leave. Even through the lies, through the drugs, through the verbal abuse, through the mental abuse that man put me through the infidelity, I had so many reasons biblically that I could have divorced that man. So many reasons. But I stayed because realistically I cared for this man. I carried his child. And a lot of y'all not going to understand how I stayed through all of that. But I truly believed that somehow, some way it was going to turn around in my favor, but it never did. But what happened was that God made sure that I came out on top at the end. I didn't see it when I was going through it. I kept looking at my baby and I kept telling him, I'm sorry, baby. I brought you in here. I brought you in this world, and you don't deserve to have no daddy that don't look at you the same way he look at other people's kids and love on them. My baby didn't deserve that, dog. And he don't deserve that at all. This is that man's only child, his flesh and blood, his son. And I allowed it to happen, man. I did. And I take full responsibility and accountability for my actions. I do. But that day was the day that I could have walked with my head held high and couldn't nobody tell me nothing. Because when that man left my house, I knew that was the last time. That was the last time that I was going to allow him to come in. That was it. Part 20, the lies he told. So I left Houston that weekend, I believe, or it might have been whenever my sister told me that she was free. And I went and I spent some time, me and the baby, we went to New Orleans. I went and spent some time with my sister. And we went down there and then we came back. And when we came back, I contacted him and I told him, I said, hey man, I need financial help because when you left, you didn't pay none of the bills. I want to be clear that his move out date, the day he moved out, was July 30th. I said, I need either some support for the baby. Either you can help pay his child care, or, you know, if you feel it in your heart, however, because you're heartless now, but if you feel it in that heart, whatever heart you got, I need money to support this household. He told me that he was going to make a payment to me when he got his check. Of course, that never happened. I immediately went and filed for child support. The proceeding happened pretty quick. It was via Zoom. And turns out that every 2 weeks, he owes me $436. And so that was a good thing because that was a help. But he had been taking care of bills that I wasn't normally taking care of in that house. So it did put a financial strain on me. So I eventually went and I checked my mail, which I don't normally do. I normally do everything electronically, but for some reason, God led me to go to that mailbox in that subdivision, and I did. It was full of mail. Full of mail. There were statements from the Easy Tag tollway that were hundreds of dollars from him running the tolls. There was a letter from Toyota letting me know that the car was about to be repossessed. There was a letter in there from a law firm letting us know that since the tolls had not been paid, that they were filing suit. And most of this activity happened in the past 3 to 4 months. But we got the letters when he moved out. He was not in my house when I checked that mail. He was already gone. I called my brother and I asked my brother, I said, listen, I'm in a pickle, man. You told me not to sign for that man to get no car. You told me this, but He knew that Jared had already left the house. He knew that. And I told him, I said, man, Jared ain't paid that car note. And I specifically told that man when I got that car, don't fuck my credit up. Of course he did. Of course he did. He said, how much is it behind? I said, it's about $2,300. Because you know they tack on additional fees once you are getting closer to getting your car repossessed. So I told him, I said, man, it's too much for me. I can't do that. He said, man, you might need to call him and you may need to have a conversation with him about what is his next steps. Because if he can't make the payments, he can bring you that car back and you can take that car back yourself. I told him I would call him and I would let him know what he said. I called Jared. And I don't think that I was able to get him on his cell phone, but I called that restaurant. And I said, when you get a minute, call me. And he called me back and I said, listen, I got a letter from Toyota addressed to me because my name was first on that car. And I told him that the car was about to be repossessed because he was behind almost 90 days on the car. He assured me that he was going to get the car note paid. It never happened. I logged into the online account and I noticed that since that man had that car, he only made 2 payments on that car and a partial. So I knew then that I was fucked. My credit score was messed up, about to be messed up. I did not know how I was going to financially handle the bills in my home. I knew that it was going to be rough for the next year or the next couple of years. It was going to be bad for me. So when he did not make the payment, they sent me another letter. And they basically said the same thing in the letter. This is, and they have a legal name for it. And I should know it right off the bat because I am in the legal field. But either way, it was them letting me know as soon as we can get to that car, it's gone. Your limit has extended for us to be able to give you the grace to pay the extra money that we told you we needed, whatever the case may be. I called that number on that letter and I told them exactly where he working, where his mama live. I said, y'all go get that car. Because I gave Jared 2 options when I called him. I told him either bring that car to me and bring me them extra set of keys that you never would let me have for whatever reason, or make the payment. And he chose to make the payment. I don't even believe to this day that man knew that I was the one that told them where that car was. Come get it. Because it's mine. That's my car. It's my car. It's my car. My aunt, she wanted to buy it from me, but I told her, I said, Auntie, I don't even think that I can get my hands on it. I don't think I can get my hands on it. Now, he was on the car as well. He was, but he was, you know, the way that his credit matched up, they had to put me first. Had to put me first. So, that happened to me. And, child support started coming in. I started, figuring out that there were more lies that had been told to me more than once. Women continued to keep bothering me on social media about him, letting me know that he a dog ass nigga. He ain't shit. How could you marry a man like this? And, it was embarrassing. It was humiliating. Very much so. He never really contacted me about the child until it was like the baby's birthday or something like that. It wasn't no regular, hey, how is he doing? Nothing like that. What I did when he left out of that house and when everything had kind of settled down, I made me a prayer closet. And I went in and I worshiped God every morning at 5 o'clock before I got my kids up to go to school. Because now at that point, I was the single mom. I worship God. I allowed God to love on me. I told God that, I know that you had better for me. I just simply couldn't wait. And because of this is where I'm at. I reached out to a few family members. I asked them like, hey, financially, I'm struggling. Can you help? Some people did, some people couldn't. And it's okay, because I built that bed, and I had to sleep in it. But there were times where I was basically in the negative and didn't even care that they were going to charge $36 because I was making the transaction, but my babies had to eat, man. And as I look back now, I regret the relationship. I regret letting it get that far. But in all, I love my baby. He is special for real. He really is. That was the best thing that could have ever came out of that relationship. The best thing. Guys, before I get to part 21, I want to share an informational video regarding child support and the Step Up program here in Texas. I'm not sure if other states have this, but if you are in Houston, Texas, and if you have been listening to my story and you have experienced the same thing that I've experienced, whether it is with your son's father or with your husband, and you are thinking about putting him on child support, but you are afraid or have some safety concerns when it comes to your the other parent, there is a thing called the Step Up program that I am on with my son's father, ex-husband, if you will. I hate saying that. But what it is that since my son was so young when me and his father separated, the Step Up program allows the non-custodial parent to have supervised visitations with anyone that the custodial parent chooses. It could be a family member, it could be them, like the custodial parent, or it can be someone, I believe, of a court. But they will have supervised visitations for up to 2 years. And if they complete all of the supervised visitations, that is when they will have a lone visitation with their child, but it is like a ladder. It's a step up, meaning that it will be like one night overnight, like on a Saturday, and then he would have to come back home. He would have to do that for 2 or 3 months. So if you don't start the Step Up program, it's one of those things where if you start it and you stop, you have to start all over again. So he did one visitation supervised with me at Chuck E. Cheese with our kid, maybe 3 or 4 months after he moved out. And he did not do the full 4 hours. So his time goes back again. So he has never abided by it because he doesn't contact me about his kid unless it's his birthday and he wants pictures so that he can post it on his social media and say how big of a big boy he has now that he doesn't see. So I just wanted to make this video as an informational video for a woman that may have that situation going on and they needed that assistance. Part 21, the lies he told. After he was placed on child support and after it actively started to come in, I was able to take care of daycare for my kid and everything like that. I eventually moved back to the Cypress area, and I let the house go because I filed bankruptcy and I put the house in through bankruptcy. And yes, if you are renting, you can do that. I don't know if y'all know much about bankruptcy, but you can do that. I had to file bankruptcy because of the repossession. My credit was suffering. My finances were suffering. I had got into a whole lot of debt dealing with Jared. And it was mainly because I wanted to be that wife. I wanted to be supportive of him. And I did make a lot of dumb decisions and a lot of unnecessary transactions because of him. Once again, I cannot stress this enough that I am fully to blame for that relationship. It should have never happened. But once again, this is an awareness thing for me. And I'm able to get this out because I hope that it reaches somebody. I did not get harassed a whole lot when we separated. I filed for divorce in April of 2022, and I filled out a paper that stated that I could not afford the divorce. The first hearing that we had, he did not show up. The judge was gracious and said, hey, send him a text message and let him know that he will be held in contempt of court if he does not show up. I sent him a message, and at that point, I was no longer texting him from my number. I would only use a Google Voice number to communicate with him. I did not want him to have any access to me. The child support order allowed us to talk through an app when it comes down to the child. You can FaceTime in that app. You can call in that app. You can text in that app. He never would use that app, and it tells you when the last time that person was seen on the app. He definitely doesn't log in. So I sent him a message to his number, the number that I had for him, because he would continuously change numbers. And I told him, I said, hey, we had court today for the divorce. I know you were served. I had them serve you at your mammy house, but I knew you were served. And if you don't come to the next hearing, the court stated that you will be held in contempt. And I don't really think that you want that for yourself. He responded back and he said, I didn't get any paperwork or anything about a divorce. I said, Jared, you signed the divorce decree. DocuSign. Still lying. I said, but it's okay. It's cool. No problem. I said, but I'll email you the divorce decree that you signed that should be in your email. But I'll email it to you. And I did. And I did reiterate on the email that if you do not show up, you will be held in contempt. The next hearing, of course, he did not show up. He told me he was coming, but he did not. It was a default divorce. I was granted everything in the divorce decree. And he is responsible for paying for the divorce, not me. It came out to like maybe $493 because of court costs and everything like that. And I look on there often to see if he has made payment. He has not. That happened almost 2 years ago, so he has not. And after the divorce happened, and when I went ahead and did the whole bankruptcy thing, I moved on back over here to this side of town. And I've been staying over here since then. You guys may care, y'all may not care, but the baby will be 4 in October. He is vibrant. He is beautiful. People love him. People cherish him because he is special. And he does not contact me about this child. And this is his only baby that I know of. And it's sad. But that boy is going to grow up and he is going to know how strong his mama was for him. Because I did a lot to try and keep his father in his life. And it didn't work. It just didn't work. So, this does end the series of the lies he told. Thank you for watching. I encourage you, if you have a story to tell, tell it. It is therapeutic for me. I feel a relief. I feel like a weight has been lifted. I feel like I have helped someone. The tears that I have cried, they are real. Because y'all, I have not cried about this since I got that divorce. Because the day I got that divorce, it was go time, baby. I was at 5 Central. I was at Prospect. I was gone. And y'all, one of my best friends, Kim, she in them comments, we saw Jared as a manager at Prospect Park. He had changed jobs again. And I could not figure out where he was working at because, the child support had cut off. Bet we saw him at Prospect. And now he just stays within that type of company. So guess what? Everywhere he go, I be knowing. If you do know who Jared is in real life, I'm being serious. Leave him alone. Jared has suffered enough in life. He really has. And I know I know for a fact that he not doing too well. Mentally, emotionally, he not doing too well. So now, since this series is over, what I will do is I'll go back and address some of the comments. I'll probably be making other videos about them. I just want to clear up some things if people do have questions. I will answer things. I'm not going to answer anything stupid. I got the comments to where I view them before they go on my page. So if you done said something snotty or stupid, it's not going to show. I don't care. Get a life. But I really do appreciate it. I love you guys. I want y'all to stay humble. And guess what? I got another story to tell. But I don't know when I'm going to tell it yet. Bye, y'all.